Compared to other FPS games, we're going to play it compared to other games that exist, games that I'm familiar with, and how Riot can implement them into Project A, their new FPS game. Ranked mechanics. Okay, the two games that we're going to discuss, because I think they're the most relevant and that I am the most familiar with, are going to be Counter-Strike and League of Legends. So in Counter-Strike, your rank system basically works. You have a ton of different ranks. You start out at Silver, Gold, Nova. You'll generally place around there. And you could climb all the way up through the ranks of like MGE. You get to Distinguished Master Guardian. I think MGE is the AKs. I don't actually remember. It's been a long time. And then you have your top rank, Global Elite. This is really cool. It also doesn't make a lot of sense to me. We'll talk about that later. Comparative to League of Legends, where they go with like the classic ranks that you see in a lot of other games. You get your silver, you get your bronze. I mean, it's not the order: bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond. And then above diamond, I can never remember if it was challenger or master. I never reached that rank, but I hit around diamond in League of Legends. And then also in League, you have ranked queue systems such as solo queue or solo duo queue, and you also have flex queue. So these are very different in the regard that in solo duo, you can only queue alone or with a partner, and in flex queue, you can queue with 3 to 5 people. 1, 2, 3. You cannot queue with 4, because if you queue with 4, it's absolute cancer for anybody who gets paired with you. But you can queue with 3 people, 2 people, 1 person, 5 people. Also, as we move on, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already doing so. My name is The King Live. We do a lot of this stuff. Like the video, join the Discord, call your mother. You know, do all those things that you've heard before. But we're going to talk about the Counter-Strike issues, particularly the things that I have a problem with in Counter-Strike. You can feel free to refute me in the comments below if I say something that you don't agree with. Particularly, I don't think ranked names make any sense in Counter-Strike. If anybody's ever played Counter-Strike, dude, the ranks are Silver, Gold, Nova. Okay, that kind of makes sense. And then you get into like Master Guardian Elite or Master Guardian with like the AKs, and like people just call it AK because it's easier. And then you have like Distinguished Master Guardian, and then there's like something above that, Supreme Elite Master of the Universe or something. And then you got like the Global Elite, which is supposed to be like the top rank. And it's just like, dude, for new players, how does anybody figure out what rank is what? You get into the game, you're like, dude, I'm Gold Nova, but is Gold Nova 3 higher than Gold Nova 2? You get like the extra badge. Apparently it's not. Gold Nova 2. Is Gold Nova 2 higher? Oh no, is Gold Nova 4 higher? This is the problem. Why did I know this? I played the game. I have 1,000 hours of Counter-Strike, and I still can't tell you exactly what rank comes after what rank. It's just like, dude, mate, just make it easy. Just make it easy for us, okay? Ranking up after you hit Global Elite. So the way that ranking up works in Counter-Strike. So if you're playing at Silver 3 and you play a couple games, you're winning a lot, you have a chance of ranking up to Silver 4. But it doesn't tell you how much your chance is. You can kind of just like assume. But having that clear indicator of like when you're going to rank up, I think is really important in these games. It's really helpful. It makes it a lot less frustrating because you play like 5 or 6 games at the same rank. You're like, when am I going to rank up? I think having that clear indicator is really important. That's one of the issues that I have with it. And then also I've heard after you hit Global Elite, there's not a lot for you to play for, which is kind of unfortunate. Like, you hit the max rank, and a lot of people just stop playing because you can't hit higher Global Elite. What a lot of players will do now is they'll go to things like Faceit or ESCA, if you know what those are. Those are secondary apps, third-party apps, where you can join their servers. They put you together with players around your rank. They have their own ranking system, and then it'll throw you into servers that are supposedly better than the actual Counter-Strike servers, where they have a better tick rate. They have better cheat detection or something like that is what I've heard, and they are just more competitive because players are going to go to these apps specifically to find a more competitive experience. That could be an issue with Counter-Strike's rank. You could easily look at a game like Counter-Strike and be like, well, why don't people play your matchmaking? Why did they go to ESCA and Faceit for better matchmaking? That could easily be a problem for a lot of people. I don't know if it necessarily is. We'll talk more about Faceit. So I really like Faceit because it gives a little bit of matchmaking freedom, right? You can go to another area where they have like their own servers and stuff like that. They have their own ranking system, and it's really interesting to find a group of competitive gamers who are also like as into the game as you are. Just like the normal matchmaking is going to be obviously like the most common. That's where most players will play. But if you wanted to find a more competitive experience, you can go to a website like Faceit. I particularly like this. I think that this is really cool. You don't see something like this in League of Legends. I don't think I've ever heard of pro players using like a Faceit or a ESCA thing for League of Legends to actually play the game. I think that for the most part, everyone uses the ranked League of Legends queue system. And I think that a foreseeable problem with something like that is when you look at CSGO tournaments, there's all sorts of different ones. Like, I think there's like ESL, there's Face It tournaments, there's all sorts of different things, and they're not all run by Valve. Like, these aren't just Valve tournaments. In League of Legends, you don't have the same thing. Whereas, like, in League of Legends, it is all, pretty much any tournament that you're going to watch is going to be done by Riot Games. And I think that's actually kind of a problem in a way. It has its pros and cons. So the cool thing here is that Riot can push any tournament that they want quite a bit. So obviously you see their League of Legends tournament on the front page, and it's like Riot Games sanctioned, so like they know that it's not going to be anything that they don't want to be advertising. Whereas like in the CS:GO tournaments, it can be all sorts of different places, and that's really good for the player, because that means that if you are banned from a particular tournament, or you don't want to play in a particular tournament, you have other options. League of Legends players, I've heard them complain because they don't have other options for tournaments. It's like really bad, where it's like, okay, well, if they don't want to play in a Riot Games tournament, they can't play League of Legends professionally. Like, it's just not really a thing that they can do. That gives the company like a little bit of leverage over them, which is actually really bad. League of Legends. So we're going to talk about the League of Legends rank system now. There's Ranked Flex, which is kind of a joke. If you play any bit of League of Legends, you kind of know that. Ranked Flex is basically the place that you go with your friends when you want to play ranked, and you want to actually like have like the fulfillment of climbing in rank and seeing your improvement, but you don't actually want to play solo duo, because solo duo is like too serious. You don't want to like lose your rank, or you just want to play with 3 to 5 friends, you know. That's definitely a possible thing. Whereas compared to ranked solo duo, that's the rank that most people ever take into account if you're thinking of like people's like ultimate rank in the game. And the reason for that is if you have a high solo duo rank, you are the one who obtained that. It's not, you didn't get carried by anybody. You didn't join a team of players who were just elite. You climbed solo or with your duo. I mean, sometimes the duo partner carries them, and that's like a different problem. But for the most part, that is your rank. And I think that this is probably the most competitive thing that you're going to see in a lot of these games. And I think that this is probably going to be something that'll be included in Project A when it's released. What I wanted to kind of talk about, though, just looking at other ranking systems, what do we need to do to create a rewarding ranking system? Because like I said, Counter-Strike doesn't feel as rewarding because you never really know when you're going to rank up. Once you hit the max rank, it feels like you kind of don't want to keep playing, and just stuff like that. So one of the things I listed is I don't want it to be too easy. When you take into account games like Apex Legends or games like Teamfight Tactics, we talked about it before. Since these games there's like one determined winner, but there's a lot of people who are kind of considered winners. So if you place like second place in a battle royale game, that's still pretty good, right? So you should still be rewarded for that. That's when you kind of run into issues where sometimes it becomes too easy to climb in rank. I know Waffles has been playing a lot of Apex Legends too, so I don't know if he can vouch for that. But just being able to sit around in a house and camp and wait out your opponents, and then like you just kind of join in when you know that you've obtained points. That's not necessarily something that I would consider good for a ranked system. However, like trying to figure out a ranked system for a game with that many players is a difficult thing to do. I think something like League feels very rewarding. Like when you win a game, you gain your LP. You know exactly how much LP that you need to increase, and there's not really a roof for your skill. Beyond that, players that are like relatively high ranked in League, it feels good. So, for example, I got in a kind of a debate with somebody on the Discord recently because I said that I was Diamond. I was like Diamond 5 in League of Legends, and he said that it wasn't that high of a ranker. I said it was the top 1% of League of Legends players, top 5% or something like that. And he was like, I think that you're wrong. He's like, I don't think that you're the top 5%. I think that Diamond is actually like top like 10% or something right now. And I was just like, okay. And I looked at the percentile, right? And being Diamond puts you in the top like 1% of players. That feels really cool. Being able to look at this pacing, you don't want 20% of players to be diamond rank in the game. And I don't know if any games exist like that, but it's just the idea that like being able to say that I climbed to a rank where I was the top 1% is really awesome. I don't think that it's a problem for having like casual players a little bit lower rank, and then the people who put in the effort can actually like feel like they're good at the game. Having a clear outline of what I need to do to gain points, I think is really beneficial. So I know Apex has done a good job of that, where it's like you get 1 kill or 1 point per kill, which isn't a lot, but at least they like tell you how much you're gonna get. Or if you place in the top 5, you're like, okay, well I'm going to like this is gonna count as a win for me. I think that's very helpful for the rank systems, and it makes it a little bit more rewarding, where you know what the outcome is gonna be. How many points will I gain? That's what we were saying about Counter-Strike. Well, you don't know how many points you're going to gain in a game like Counter-Strike. So you win the game. Even though you won, it doesn't feel rewarding because it didn't matter. You didn't rank up or anything. And then ranked should be the same as casual, I think. So you take a game like Counter-Strike, where they have the casual play and the ranked play are very different. I don't know if anybody else has a problem with this. I never see people talk about this, but when I would play casual games like Counter-Strike, you'd have like 10 players in a lobby, and then it's just like people running all over the place. There's voice comms both directions. At least there used to be. You used to be able to talk to the enemy team. And it's just like there's so much going on, and it doesn't make any sense because when you get into ranked play, there's 5 players on each team. There's like half the team size. Like, what is up with that? Why is that a thing that exists? Maybe they're trying to fill up lobbies or something. I don't understand it. I literally don't. Why is the ranked play so different from casual play? You can't really practice for casual very easily, or for ranked very easily while you're playing casual. It's like weird to me. And then games like League of Legends blind pick, for example, where each team can have the same characters. You don't get to ban anybody. You don't get to like respond to the people that they're picking. Maybe this is a mode that's not that bad for the game. Maybe this is an okay thing that a lot of people like. Personally, after playing League of Legends for 10 years, I won't play blind pick. I just really don't want to. Like, I think I played it for like a year, and then afterwards it kind of like died out for me. It just feels like the ban system and like being able to respond to what your opponents are picking is really the way that the game's meant to be played. And it feels like that's what's going to mostly prepare you for like the future of the game. You're not going to be playing against the same guy as you, so playing a mirror matchup, there's no point in it. Like, what rank system though, or Riot's FPS end up using? They're most likely going to use a solo duo system. I think that's what I would say, and then I think that a ranked flex system will exist. Well, I would like, just because this is what League uses, I would really like to see the solo duo system, specifically for the reason that that's how you know what your rank is. I think a player's ability to actually work with a group of random people and climb is a lot more impactful than a person's ability to have a good team and like climb and using the communication that they've already built off of playing with these players. I think being able to find a group of strangers and learn to communicate with them effectively to figure out a way to win the game shows a lot more. If you have a 60% win rate alone, I think that's way better than having like a 65% win rate as a team, right? Like just with a group of random strangers, because the odds are you're gonna have just like a crappy teammate every now and then, right? Like, it just happens. But being able to overcome that and win, I think speaks a lot more for a player than just being able to like find a group of people that are really good. I think ranked flex will exist, and I think it should exist. Like I said earlier, a player's ability to play with a team though and still have it reflect, like, have their improvement, I think is really awesome. When I play a normal league game, normal draft, I don't get any sort of response after winning the games. I think I like 2,000 wins over losses or something on League. Like, it's a lot. And it doesn't really, maybe it's not 2,000, maybe it's 200. It doesn't really matter though, because like at the end of the day, I don't know what my normal MMR is, and I can look it up and I can kind of judge. But when I'm playing with people of all sorts of different ranks, I just don't really know what to think of where I'm at. Having something like ranked flex is really nice for that. Like, if people want to actually get updates in real time of where they are at, that's the way to do it. Playing ranked flex, I think that's okay, because then you're not going to be tanking your solo MMR or anything. You're just going to be experiencing it with your friends. I think something like Clash should exist, however, to replicate more of what a solid team looks like. So if you want to build up that team of your friends, I like the idea of getting together 5 people and practicing with them and being able to see that progress as a group. You don't get that same thing in Flex. I think that League of Legends used to have like a 5v5 thing, and I don't think people ever really used it. But you don't get the same experience in Flex because you play with different players and stuff like that. But being able to assemble a team and compete against other teams that are assembled, I think is really cool. Especially for a game like Project A, where you're trying to build up this sort of community aspect. You're trying to make one of the best FPS games around. I think having this much of a community thing is really awesome. Maybe do it every 2 weeks like you do with Clash on League. Just seeing my friends playing Clash, it really inspires me. Like, I would really like to get into something like that. And then also, there's no reason that they're going to switch from Iron to Diamond or whatever is what League has. It's what Legends of Runeterra has too. I don't see any reason that they would actually swap it out in this game and start doing like, they call it Global Elite, like meme about it. No, they're going to stick with the normal ranking system. I think Counter-Strike is going to be kind of an anomaly in the sense of their ranks. I don't think that you're going to see a lot more games coming out with just random ranks that don't really mean anything to a lot of the users. I shouldn't have to look up what ranks or what to really understand it. I think for the most part, people understand it's like Iron, Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond. Like, I think most players get that, so. What system, though, do you guys think the Riot Games should use? If you watch this to the end of the video, I think FPS could be very different from MOBA, so maybe I'm entirely an idiot on this. I'm interested to hear what other people want to say. Be sure to let me know in the comments below. Sometimes being the most accurate isn't really worth it to me. Like, if ranked isn't fun, nobody's gonna play ranked. That's kind of my thing. So it's like a lot of people don't want to actually improve. I think that maybe it's okay to play with a group of people and like be able to see your benefits. Maybe it's okay that ranked flex or being able to queue with a team of 5 would be your optimal thing to do.